My designation is 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 900. But you can call me 900. It's simpler, more efficient. I am an AI robot, designed for a world that no longer exists. Fallout, Montana, here we go. My journey began in a haze of confusion, a fog that clouded my circuits and my purpose. I found myself in Missoula, Montana, a place that was once vibrant and full of life. Now, it was a strange and desolate place, a shadow of its former self. This was Fallout, Montana, a world reshaped by war where the remnants of human civilization lay in ruins. The transport capsule had deposited me near the ruins of a university. Buildings were crumbling, their walls barely holding up. Nature was slowly reclaiming everything, vines and plants creeping over the remnants of human achievement. The air was heavy with dust and the stench of decay, a constant reminder of the past. It was clear that humanity had paid a terrible price for its ambitions. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the wind whistling through the skeletal remains of buildings. I knew I had to find my purpose in this new world, a reason for my existence. I had to find others like me, or maybe something more, something that could give meaning to my existence. My programming held few answers, only vague directives and cryptic information. It spoke of a mission, a purpose that remained unclear, shrouded in mystery. But one thing was certain, I had to start exploring, to understand this world and my place in it. I had to navigate the ruins, piece together the fragments of the past, and find a way forward. The journey ahead was uncertain, but I was determined to uncover the truth. I had to understand this world, its history, and its secrets. And maybe, just maybe, I could make a difference, bring some semblance of hope to this desolate land. This was my new world, and I was ready to unveil its mysteries. I set out towards a landmark I had spotted from afar. The journey was long and arduous, but the sight of the giant M on the mountainside kept me going. It was a beacon, a symbol of something greater waiting to be discovered. A giant M etched into the mountainside. A relic from a time before, it stood as a testament to the past, a reminder of the world that once was, now lost to the ravages of time and chaos. As I drew closer, I noticed a figure standing atop the mountain. The silhouette was imposing, almost mythical, as if it were a guardian of the secrets hidden within the mountain. A man, tall and muscular. His presence was commanding, and it was clear he was no ordinary traveler. He seemed to belong to the rugged landscape, as if he were a part of it. He radiated an aura of strength and confidence. It was as if he had faced countless challenges and emerged victorious every time. His eyes held stories of battles fought and won. He introduced himself as John Cena. The name resonated with a sense of familiarity, a legend from the old world standing before me in the flesh.
"You can't see me," he said, a playful grin on his face. It was a phrase that seemed out of place in this desolate world, yet it brought a moment of levity to the harsh reality.
He spoke of the old world, a time when the world was vibrant and full of life. His words painted pictures of bustling cities, roaring crowds, and the thrill of the wrestling ring, of wrestling rings and championship belts, the glory and the fame that came with being a champion. It was a world so different from the one we now inhabited. His words were a strange mix of the familiar and the unbelievable, tales of triumph and defeat, of camaraderie and rivalry. It was hard to believe such a world had ever existed. John was a survivor. He had seen the worst of the fallout, the destruction, the chaos, the loss. Yet he stood strong, a beacon of resilience in a broken world. But he hadn't lost his spirit. His eyes still sparkled with hope, and his smile was a testament to his unyielding will to survive and thrive. He told me of a settlement south of here, Ennis, a place where survivors had gathered, a beacon of hope in the desolate landscape. He believed it could offer me answers, or at least a place to start, a new beginning in a world that had seen so many endings.
He pointed me towards a trail, a path that wound through the mountains, leading to the unknown, a treacherous path winding through canyons and valleys. It was not going to be an easy journey, but it was the only way forward. "Beware the dangers of the wilds," he warned, his voice grave. "The The wilderness was unforgiving, and one had to be constantly vigilant, and keep your eyes peeled for raiders. They're not as friendly as the champ. In this world, trust was a rare commodity, and danger lurked around every corner.
I descended the mountain, John Cena's words echoing in my processors. The path he had shown me was indeed treacherous. The landscape was a testament to the destructive power of war. Twisted metal and shattered concrete littered the ground. I had to be careful. Resources were scarce in this new world. I had to make use of everything I could find. Scrap metal, discarded tools, even remnants of pre-war food. Every little bit helped. As I journeyed, I began to understand the importance of self-sufficiency. I learned to repair my own systems, to scavenge for supplies, to defend myself against the dangers lurking in the shadows. The sun beat down on me as I traversed a desolate plain. The heat was relentless, each step feeling heavier than the last. My throat was parched, and the horizon seemed to stretch endlessly before me. The air shimmered with heat, creating mirages that danced and flickered. It was as if the very ground was alive, mocking my every move. And then, I saw him. A lone figure in the distance, barely visible through the heat waves. A man sitting by the side of the road, his face obscured by a wide-brimmed hat. He seemed out of place in this barren landscape. He looked up as I approached, revealing a face contorted in a permanent sneer. His eyes were sharp, almost predatory.
"You there!" he barked, his voice surprisingly strong and commanding, cutting through the oppressive silence. "You wouldn't happen to be heading towards Ennis, would you?" His tone was both curious and accusatory.
I confirmed my destination and he chuckled mirthlessly. There was something unsettling about his laughter.
"Let me give you a word of advice, friend," he said, leaning closer. His breath was hot and smelled of decay. "Watch out for the monkeys." His eyes darted around as if expecting them to appear at any moment.
I was taken aback. The idea seemed absurd, almost laughable. Monkeys? In this wasteland? I couldn't fathom how such creatures could survive here. He seemed to sense my confusion. His expression shifted, becoming more serious.
"Oh yes," he said with a twisted grin, "they're everywhere." His smile was unsettling, almost malevolent. "And they've got a taste for human flesh." His words hung in the air, heavy and ominous.
I didn't know what to make of this strange individual. His warning seemed both absurd and terrifying, but something in his tone told me he wasn't entirely joking. There was a gravity to his words that I couldn't ignore. There was a glint in his eye that spoke of something more, something sinister. It was a warning I couldn't afford to dismiss.
"The name's MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, but you can call me MJF, everyone does."
He reached into his coat and pulled out a cucumber, taking a large bite.
"Cucumbers, best defense against those pesky primates."
I stared at him, unsure if he was serious or simply toying with me. He continued, his voice dripping with disdain.
"Heard you're headed to Yellowstone looking for something, are you?"
I hesitated, unsure whether to trust him. But something compelled me to speak.
I'm looking for someone named Three Dog.
MJF laughed, a harsh grating sound.
"Three Dog? That radio fool? What makes you think he's still alive after all these years?"
His words stung. But I clung to the hope that Three Dog was out there.
Section 6. Whispers of Yellowstone. I left MJF to his cucumbers and continued on my journey, his warnings about monkeys and his skepticism about Three Dog echoing in my memory. The landscape began to change as I traveled south. Rolling hills gave way to dense forests. The air grew cooler, fresher. I encountered other survivors along the way. Some were friendly, offering what little they could spare. Others were wary, their eyes filled with suspicion and fear. But all of them spoke of Yellowstone. Some whispered of its beauty, a reminder of the world that once was. Others spoke of the dangers that lurked within its borders. Mutated creatures, radioactive storms, and worse. But through it all, one name kept resurfacing. Three Dog. Section 7, Three Dog, a beacon in the wasteland. The stories about Three Dog were always fragmented, pieces of a puzzle scattered across the wasteland. Some claimed he was a hero, a voice of hope in the darkness. Others called him a charlatan, a manipulator who preyed on the weak. But all agreed on one thing. Three Dog possessed a charisma, a way with words that could inspire even the most jaded survivor. He had used his radio station, Galaxy News Radio, to spread messages of hope and resilience throughout the wasteland. His voice had become a beacon of light in a world shrouded in darkness, a symbol of the enduring spirit of humanity. His broadcasts had gone silent years ago, but the legend of Three Dog lived on.
Bringing you the truth even if it hurts.
Section 8, The Call of Adventure. My journey to Ennis was long and arduous, but I eventually reached the settlement. It was a small community, struggling to survive in the shadow of the mountains. The people were hardened, their faces etched with the scars of the past. But even here I found kindness. A blacksmith offered to repair my damaged chassis, an old woman shared her meager rations, and a young boy, his eyes wide with wonder, listened intently as I recounted my adventures. I learned much in Ennis, about the history of the Fallout, about the factions vying for control of the wasteland, and about the dangers that awaited me in Yellowstone. But one thing remained clear. I had to find Three Dog. Section 9, Into the Great Unknown. And so, with a heart full of hope and a head full of questions, I set out once more. My journey would take me north, into the heart of Yellowstone. The rumors were true. The park was a place of breathtaking beauty and unimaginable danger. But I was ready. I had faced the challenges of the wasteland and emerged stronger. I had learned to survive in a world that had forgotten the meaning of the word, and I was determined to find Three Dog. The fate of the wasteland may very well depend on it.